Namaskar. The weather is a bit challenging, but I will try. I would like to talk about how to maintain a very good flow in the day-to-day life. We meditate twice a day, sometimes 3-4 times a day, and then we feel if we sit quietly and after some minutes of complete motionless posture, and concentrating, your mind goes into the higher state, your mind elevates. But when we come back to the day-to-day activities, the mind also comes down, and the mind again becomes agitated, and we start to make mistakes, and we lose the harmony. We come back to our ego state, and we lose the harmony with the world, with the universe. We lose that inspirational flow. So how to maintain that inspirational flow? Actually, in the sadhana lessons, in the lessons of meditation, there is a perfect balance. But those lessons, they are taught personally and secretly. I cannot disclose those lessons, but I can explain the spirit of the practices. So there is one practice which is called Madhu Vidya, or the sweet knowledge. Madhu means honey. Knowledge that makes everything sweet. For example, you wash the dishes, or you do some other routine kind of work that you really hate. You really don't like to do that work. But if you apply a certain idea, if you apply a certain feeling, you can transform and you can make this work enjoyable. So I would like to explain how this will be useful for the beginners and also for the senior practitioners, just to remind how we should maintain the ideation, the spiritual flow in day-to-day life. When the ego, our individual I, feels that I am doing the action, there will be distortions created within the mind. As you sow, so you reap. The law of karma will start to work, and our reaching the final goal will be obstructed by those distortions in the mind. So we need to learn how to act in a perfect balance. That is the most resourceful state. When I feel that I am doing the action, my capabilities are limited with the capabilities of the tiny little I. But if I will feel that this I and this body, this mind is just a media, just a tool to express a greater I, the greater will, the greater harmony, then the knowledge, the energy, the inspiration becomes much wider. And if you're able to achieve a perfection in this lesson, in this practice, in this ideation, there will be nothing impossible in this world. Everything will be possible. So whenever we do any action, before that action, we need to remind ourselves 3 things. 1, that this action I am not doing out of self-interest. I am not doing it for myself. So it is better not to expect anything in return, to do as a selfless action. But it is quite difficult to achieve. So there is a technique. That technique is the technique of giving the gifts. Imagine that you love the Supreme Entity, or you really do love the Supreme Entity, and you feel that this action, let's say I'm washing the dishes, this action is actually the gift, my gift for the Supreme. This is my way to say I love you. This is my way to give something of myself to Him. So when this feeling comes that I am doing action as a gift to the Supreme Entity, immediately the feeling of love will arise in your heart. And when the feeling of love will arise, you don't want anything in return, because you have achieved, you have received everything you needed. That is the feeling of bliss. I remember there was one person, some miracle happened to him. He was an alcoholic, addicted, and his mother came and he said, "Dada, can you do something about my son?" I said, "What can I do?" He's drinking alcohol every day. What can I do? I cannot convince him. She said, "Please, Dada, do something." I said, "Okay, let him come for this spiritual program. I don't know, I cannot do anything. But if you insist, I can try. Why not?" So he came, and he was staying somewhere in the far room, and then he would time to time drink also, even during the spiritual program. And it was a much inconvenience, because it is completely unaccepted in our culture, drinking, taking alcohol. So anyhow, he was there, and then I time to time just tried to encourage him somehow. "Oh, please, let's try, attend the program, let's meditate together." Something like this I was doing. So finally, at the third day of the retreat, of this program, intense program, he decided, "Okay, I will join these meditations, and I will." The whole day he was doing properly. He was doing meditation 4 times a day. He did asanas, everything. And then miraculously, by the end of that day, he got inspired, and he quit the habit of drinking. And till now he is not drinking. He stopped. But it was such a miracle. Nobody could believe. He also could not believe how this could happen to me. And then he realized immediately there was a connection between him. He thought that Supreme Entity has done something for me. The grace, I have received the grace of the Supreme. So immediately that connection was established. I know there is somebody who loves me, who wishes me well. So one day he wrote me a letter. He said, "Dada, today you know what happened. I was going to do some work, and I was passing by some field, and there were some flowers. And I thought in my mind, when I will be coming back, I will take those flowers and will offer them to God." This thought just came in his mind. And he said, the moment I felt this thought, the moment I felt my sincerity opening up, that I want to give something, I want to express my gratitude to the Supreme. That very moment, he said that I stood up and I felt like a shower of grace, the shower of bliss, that I am staying in the fountain of energy and the current is running through me. I felt something I never felt in my life. What was it, Dada? I said, well, this is, normally people call it devotion. They call it love. He said, wow. Now I understand. So this is one side of the practice. You do action, but you do action not because you want to earn money, you want to get something, or you want to avoid something. Not out of fear, not out of greed, but because you want, with this action, you want to actually give something to the Supreme. You have nothing. You have received everything from the Supreme. And you know it, you are aware of it. But still you feel that something I want to give. At this moment, my action, it can be selfish, means to promote myself, to improve my situation, or I can mentally think that I offer this action to you. The feeling of love will arise. Second thing is that when we do action, we easily get attached to it. We feel that authorship of action is mine. Who made the cake? I made the cake. Really? Who made the cake? I did the cake. Really? Who made the cake? Oh. I think the Supreme Consciousness made the cake. But the idea was mine. So that is our feeling, that we get so much attached to what we do, and we appropriate the ownership of action. It is me who is doing the action. But if you analyze deeper, you will find that mind is powerless. The body is powerless until and unless greater power motivates the body and mind. If there will be no inspiration, if there will be no spark of life within yourself, the mind will not move an inch, the body will not move an inch. So this spark of life within yourself, it is actually the supreme entity within you. That supreme entity gives you energy, motivates you, encourages you. So, truly speaking, the credit goes to the supreme entity. So, the second part of this process is to know that it is not me who is doing action, but the supreme entity is working through me. This body and mind is just the media, is just an instrument to express. So if you feel that way, then you will subconsciously, unconsciously find the proper tune. It's like one girl, I explained this to her in one lecture. There was a class. I remember it was like 8 years ago. And then she was very inspired. And then she comes for the next collective meditation. He said, Dada, you know what happened? She was studying in the Academy of Arts. And you know what happened? I said, what? Tell me. She says, you know, I was doing my sculpture. And I was repeating the mantra all the time. I was repeating universal mantra, Bábá Nam Kevalam. Repeating. And then finally the sculpture was ready. Very quickly I have done. So when I brought it to my teacher, he asked me, so how long did you spend for the sculpture? And I said, I just did it in 2 hours. He said, no, in 2 hours it is impossible. For you, it is not possible. You have done a good job, but it was not 2 hours. You did a longer time. She said, like this. And then I said, yes, this is the science. So when you apply this feeling, you just intuitively find what is the next right step. And somehow everything flows correctly. Sometimes even if you make mistakes, those mistakes, they just come properly. It was actually not mistakes, but the only right way. I remember we were constructing a summer kitchen, and we were working, enjoying together to work with one very good spiritual man. And we were under pressure of time. We were hurrying very much. So, and many times I remember we did mistakes. He will shout to me, Dada, please cut this wood plank 5 meters, 55 centimeters. I say, okay. Then I cut. And then I say, oh, I have done mistake. I have cut 5.45 instead. And he said, wait, Dada, I have also done mistake. And we put the plank, and it is exactly 5.45. Just fitting there. I have done mistake, he has done mistake. But we both try to apply this process. We both try to feel that the Supreme Entity is working through us. And sometimes it's just directing us. There is some mismeasurement, but there is something that you actually, everything is well. So this is a very important part of the process. You yourself are able to do something, but you can do better if you are not limited with the boundaries of your ego, the boundaries of your experience, the boundaries of your knowledge. There is a greater knowledge which lies dormant in the domain of intuition. And then the final thing is that when you come in touch with some objects, let's say I see a yogi, I see a movie star, I see an alcoholic, there will be different impacts on the mind. Whatever you see, touch, feel, hear, everything will impact the mind. And if the vibrations are crude, the mind will descend, mind will go down. And if the vibrations are subtle, the mind will uplift. But there is nothing more than the vibration of the mantra. I remember also one time we did a retreat, like intense 3 days of spiritual practices, maybe 40 people together, and we were in the Baikal Lake. It is a beautiful natural spot, really beautiful, very clean, very pristine. And we were doing meditation, and one day we decided to go out for a walk. And while we were going out, I felt that my mind is descending. Actually, nature is very beautiful. People go there to get rest from the city, busy life, and elevate their minds, to find harmony. But I found that the mind is descending. Because in the house we were meditating and we created such a rich, vibrant spiritual atmosphere. And when I came out of the house, that atmosphere is gone, and the mind goes to try to adjust with the environment, with the vibrations of the environment. And then I noticed it, and I started to repeat mantra internally, and mind again lifted up. So actually, with whatever we touch, we come in touch with, it creates the crude vibration in our mind, in the physical world. So there has to be special ideation maintained. That special ideation is that everything is cosmic. I touch, I see nothing but the manifestation of the Supreme Consciousness. This is what I'm experiencing. I'm looking into your eyes, but I don't see the man. I don't see a woman. What I see that the Divine Supreme Entity is watching me back, is looking at me from those very eyes, and I get joyful. This is the way. So whatever you touch, whatever you perceive, you try to think that it is the Supreme Entity. So the 3 things are there. There are more things, but this is the most important. First, feel that your action, whatever you do, is not meaningless. It's not something that you do because you have to earn money. No, that you are much more dignified than that, just to work for the money. No, you are bigger than that. Whatever I do, it's my offering, it is my gift to the Supreme. With whatever He has given me, I am transforming it with the energy He has given me. I am giving something back as an action of love, not the action of exchange or something. It is an action of love. It is a symbolic. It is not that really He needs it from me. He does not need. He is a perfect entity. But it is a symbolic offering of love. So immediately you feel in your heart the love develops. Second is to feel that I am not here. The Supreme Entity is working through me, and I am moving with the flow. I am searching for that flow. I am trying to find the tune, trying to find the harmony. Not I'm trying to find what I want, what I don't want, what I fear, what I like, what I dislike. But to try what is the harmony, and attune myself to that harmony. Constantly keep it there, so that I dance together with the Supreme Entity. So that is the second thing. And the third thing, that everything around me is also the manifestation of the same bliss, of the same love that I feel within. It is within me, the same spark of love, the same spark of life, which is within me, the most original entity which motivates me for everything. The same spark of life is all around, in every object, in every eyes, in every human, in every animal, in every stone. So this is a very powerful science, I encourage you to actually learn meditation personally from a teacher. I can help you to find in your location. If you have learned, you learn a special lesson which is called Madhuvidya. Yes, thank you very much for your attention. Namaskar.